Alright, Math 1, parallel and perpendicular lines. So, the thing to remember, parallel lines have the same slope. So number 1, their slope is negative 3 over 5. So my slope of a line parallel, negative 3 over 5. For number 2, their slope, 3. My slope is 3. Okay, now number 3, we have to do a little bit of work, right? We have to put it in slope-intercept form. To do that, we just subtract x. We get y equals negative x plus 2. So that's like negative 1, so my slope is negative 1. Number 4, we subtract negative 4x from both sides, giving us 5y equals negative 4x plus 0, divide by 5, and we get y equals negative 4/5 x. So my slope, negative 4/5. Okay? So taking that idea on 9, 10, and 11, we are now going to write an equation that is parallel, that goes through a certain point. So what I need in order to write my equation is I need the slope and I need the y-intercept. Okay, y-intercept and the slope. The slope, they give me a line it's parallel to, so now I have a slope. So my slope is 7/5, but I still need a y-intercept. Well, they give me 2 points. That's a point which has 2 values, an x and a y value. So I can replace the y value with the y value, the x value with the x value, and then solve for b. So turn it into a fraction. 7 times 5 is 35 over 5 times 1 is 5. 35 over 5 is 7. So 5 equals 7 plus b. Subtract 7. We get negative 2 equals b. So my equation now is y equals slope 7/5 x minus 2, the y-intercept. That's the answer I'm looking for. Okay, so 10, same idea. Y value of 0 equals, it's parallel, so same slope, times x value 4 plus 1. 1/2 times 4 is 2. 2 plus 1 gives me 3. Oh, not 1. Made a mistake, that should be b, huh? So I get 2 plus b equals 0, subtract 2, negative 2 equals b. So my equation, y equals that slope, 1/2 x minus 2, the y-intercept. And there's my slope that'll be parallel to this line and pass through that point. Okay, 11, same idea. Parallel to x minus 1, so my slope is like 1. So it would be y value of 1 equals 1 times x value of negative 3 plus b, because I'm looking for b. So negative 3 plus b equals 1. Add 3 to both sides, and I get 4 equals b. So my equation, y equals same slope plus the y-intercept. Alright, now, if we're looking to draw some parallel lines, a horizontal line has a slope of 0. So we write it y equals negative 5, that point it goes through. Well, a parallel line is also going to be a horizontal line, so anywhere else, draw a horizontal line and write its equation, y equals 1. Okay? For 16, to find my slope, I pick some good points, so there's a good point. And it looks like there's another good point up there. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this equation is going to be y equals 8 over 5 x, and then the y-intercept is negative 3, so minus 3. So if I want to make a line parallel to that, I need the same slope. So just pick a y-intercept. I'm going to pick one down here. So I'll have y equals negative 5 as my y-intercept, and then I go up 8, to the right 5, draw my line, and has the same slope and a different y-intercept. Okay, so 17, 18, 19, 20, same idea. So I need to find their slope. So it looks like here and here, so down 1, 2, 3, to the right 5. So their equation is going to be y equals negative 3/5 x, and then minus 2, because that's our y-intercept. I'm going to pick positive 2 for my y-intercept. So my equation is going to be y equals negative 3/5, same slope because it's parallel, but plus 2. And then I go down 3 to the right 5. Draw my parallel line. Okay, 18 is a vertical line. Vertical line has an undefined slope, but its equation we write as x equals the number it goes through, negative 4. So I draw a vertical line, and my equation, x equals 0 in this case. Okay, number 19, find the slope. Looks like it goes up 2 to the right 1. So there's his y equals 2 over 1, or just 2x minus 2. I need the same slope. So I pick a starting point. I'm going to start up here at 3. Then I go up 2 to the right 1, or down 2 to the left 1. And there's my parallel line. And my equation would be y equals 2 over 1x plus 3. Okay? Because they're parallel lines, my slopes are always going to match up. The difference is those y-intercepts. Okay, the last one here. So, slope goes down 8 to the right 1. So it would have a slope of negative 8 over 1, or just negative 8. Y-intercept of positive 3. So their equation, y equals that. So mine, I'll just start at the origin. I know it's going to be parallel to it. It's going to be hard to draw a parallel line though, isn't it? And I know mine's going to be y equals negative 8x plus 0. Alright, so there's all the things with parallel lines. So now let's talk about perpendicular lines. So, perpendicular lines, it's the opposite reciprocal. So if I have a slope of a over b, a perpendicular line slope is going to be b over a, and then the opposite. So if this is positive, this is negative. If this is positive, then this one's negative. Okay? So a negative 4/5 would become a positive 5 over 4 for a perpendicular slope. Positive 1 over 4 would become a negative 4 over 1, or just a negative 4. Okay, number 8, negative 5/3 becomes a positive 3/5 because they swap. Negative becomes positive. For 7, I would subtract 2x from both sides, giving me negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 6. Divide by negative 3. I get y equals 2/3 x minus 2. Perpendicular slope would be a negative, because theirs is positive. 3 on the bottom, so 3 goes on top. 2 on the top, so 2 goes on the bottom. Okay? Now, let's take a look at these graph ones first. So, 21, okay, we find our slope. Goes up 2 over 1. So this equation, y equals 2 over 1, or just 2x plus 0, but I can leave it off. So perpendicular slope's got to be the opposite reciprocal. So my new equation, the opposite of positive 2 over 1, is going to be a negative 1/2 opposite reciprocal. Okay, so I start maybe at negative 2. I'm going to go down 1 to the right 2, or up 1 to the left 2, and draw my perpendicular line. And my equation, that slope now, isn't going to be the same, but they should be opposite reciprocals. Okay? 22, same idea. I go down 1 to the right 3. So their equation, y equals negative 1/3 x plus 0, or just negative 1/3 x. So my equation, the opposite reciprocal, so now it's a positive number, and I go positive 3 over 1, or just positive 3x. Then I decide where to put my y-intercept. Let's do it up at 3. So up at 3, and I'm going up 3 to the right 1, or down 3 to the left 1. Draw my line, and there's my perpendicular line. Okay, 23, same idea. Up 1 to the right 2, so y equals 1/2 x minus 2 for their equation. Mine needs to be opposite reciprocal, so y equals negative 2 over 1x. So I pick a y-intercept, let's do it 2. And I'm going to go down 2 to the right 1. And I draw, whoops, I try to draw a little bit better my perpendicular line. Okay, so 24. Now it's a vertical line, so theirs is going to be x equals 4. The perpendicular is going to be a horizontal line, so mine's y equal 2. So 24 is very similar, isn't it? Okay, so a horizontal line of y equals -1. I'm going to do a vertical line of x equals -2. And I know they're perpendicular because horizontal and vertical are always perpendicular from each other. So the last perpendicular line, okay, slope of down, let's see, another good point right there, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so -6 over 2, 3, 4, 5. So their equation, y equals -6 over 5x plus 2, because that's their y-intercept. I do the opposite reciprocal, so mine's going to be a positive 5 over 6x. And let's start down at -4. So there's my equation. So I go up 5, to the right 6. So it'll be like over there. And there we go. Okay, there's our lines. All right, now doing the perpendicular equations. So it works the same way. The difference is, instead of borrowing the same slope like we did, we find the opposite reciprocal. So their slope is -2/9. My slope is positive 9 over 2. So I got y equals positive 9 over 2 times x plus b, because I need my y-intercept. So I replace the x with -2, and I replace the y with -5, and then we solve for b. So -2 times 9 is -18 over 2 times 1 is 2. -18 divided by 2 is -9 equals -5. Add 9 to both sides. I get positive 4 equals b. So my equation, y equals 9/2 x plus 4. That's the line that is perpendicular to y equals -2/9 x plus 1 and also passes through the point -2, -5. All right, 13, same idea. Okay, their slope is 3, so my slope is the opposite reciprocal, so that's like 3 over 1. So I go 1/3, theirs is positive, mine becomes negative. Then I need that y-intercept, right? So I pick a y value. Y equals my slope times the x value plus b. -1 times -3, positive 3. 3 times 1, positive 3. 3 over 3 is 1. So 1 plus b equals 4. Subtract 1, and we get 3 equals b. So my y-intercept, 3. So my equation for my perpendicular line that goes through the point -3, 4 is y equals -1/3 x plus 3. If we graphed them both, they'd be perpendicular lines. Okay, then the last one. So their slope is -5, so that's like -5 over 1. So my slope becomes 1 over 5 and positive. Okay, so my equation, y equals 1/5 x plus b, because I don't know what my b is. There's my x, so 1/5 times -1. There's my y, -4. So 1/5 times -1 is -1/5 plus b equals -4. Add 1/5 to that. Okay, and if you've forgotten how to add decimals, change -4 to a decimal. Get the common denominator, so I times both top and bottom by 5. We end up with -20 over 5 plus 1 over 5, so -19 over 5. So that's which 5 can go into 19 3 times, so -3 and 4/5 left over equals b. So my equation, y equals my slope, 1/5 x minus 3 and 4/5. So, and that line is perpendicular to that one that passes through that point. And that's pretty much all we got, guys. So remember, parallel lines have the same slope, and perpendicular lines have the opposite reciprocals. So you take the fraction, you flip it. If it's positive, it becomes negative. If it's negative, it becomes positive.